All right, guys, so we're back down here at the Woodyard, just finally getting a look at how the ground is doing. We still got a little bit of squishiness going on here. We're at 35 degrees, one more day, and it looks like everything's firming up. So you can still see everything's all wet and mushy, but we made it. We've gotten I think Friday we had 49 and Saturday 50 something. Today's 35, so it's just at that cusp of being too soupy. But I do need to go over. Little lady next door's got fuel oil guy coming, but I need to break up the ice for her, so I'm just down here checking it out. Another shop day. But I wanted to at least get you guys some content. My son and I, Saturday, I had him out running the processor. He loved it, but it was too nasty to run the tractor on the ground. So luckily I had a couple logs still on the deck. And for Bert, if you're watching, buddy, this is kind of what I was talking about with washing. Nothing really you could take off with an axe or nothing like that. I've been chipping the best I can, but until you scrape it down to nothing, you get out of this dirt. And this is just me learning experiences, we'll call it, life lessons. But yeah, you could see the bad side of the log. And of course ash, with the bark it has, once them channels get filled, it just destroys your chains pretty bad. So not really much you can knock off with an axe unless there's frozen clumps. That's kind of why I was saying about washing, because once it gets into them channels, nothing good happens. But besides that, the road's not looking bad. We do have water running again, you guys can see that, which is gonna happen. But yeah, now you can see where I'm not with a tractor, and everywhere I've been with the tractor is pretty much black. It's dark, the ice and all that. The chains on the tractor do great on the ice, but they end up chopping into it. Sun gets down to the ground and it goes away on you quick. So my question, and I think from logging the years and whatnot and just being in the woods, I think I prefer ground like this to ground like this. And I want to know what you guys think, you guys out there in the field. My logic is, when it's covered like this, it's not frozen. So when the ground goes bad, or when the ice and all that goes, you're socking wet ground. When you have bare ground and it's froze hard and tight, it seems like when the frost comes out, it comes out quick. I don't know. I'm more or less picking brains here, but trying to pick brains. And I don't know exactly what I would do differently, except for maybe not run chains and be spinning my wheels all day. But just another little recap. So I'm going to continue this all the way out to about where that bin is. The third bin that I'm thinking will be here, and then perhaps if I can sneak another fourth bin in, I'd like to travel right down through with it. I don't know if it's going to be possible. See all the buds. We do have some early buds this year. Some of the trees are starting to get red, which is not so good, just because of the warm spell that we've had, because we've got another couple below 0 days coming in this week in the morning. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the deer have been eating all the tops off of everything through here. My trail cameras that I've got for security They are just getting pounded. You can see all the bits that are bit off there. They are just munching to town. So we're keeping the deer happy. What did I want to? Something about the popple. Oh, I wanted to. So I do have, like you guys know, the trash and everything else that's not actually going into this bin because I'm using the conveyor. Now what I'm able to pick out is the kindling. Now I'm actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I might use an IBC tote, but I've been chucking from the bucket of the tractor to the conveyor, the kindling over here, and this is off of maybe 2 hours worth of hauling. So I'm gonna end up with a pile of kindling, it looks like. If you guys can shoot me some links or any ideas about what dries, because I've got little pallets that I built up with walls and whatnot to keep kindling in, but they don't dry as well with it being open. I was thinking about maybe getting wire mesh, like chicken wire or something like that, and going around the outside of a bin. That way as you throw it in, it doesn't fall out, and it would kind of hold it in there, but yet it would let air in and out to breathe. So let me know what you guys think about that. Another thing, and one of the first modifications, we'll call it, that I had done to this, as you can see, it builds up here with oil because I left my valve on. Now I did cut this off, and you can kind of see where it's broadcasting it now pile wise, but before it was all piling underneath there, this would get filled and it would just basically fill up underneath. So this is a lot cleaner, and this is the piece that I had cut off of there. Now I can weld it back on, no big deal, but you can see it wasn't a very, at least in my eyes, it wasn't a very smart system, because if the wood chips are dry, they pile. If they're wet, they pile worse. But that's all you had was a trough, and then a little cover came down here, but it would just sit in there, clog up, and start going into the feed. So I cut that guy off, and it seems like it's broadcasting them out quite a bit better. I do still have a bit of an issue underneath there, which the only way to fix that would be to take all of the basically cover that up, the little mesh deal inside of there. So I'm not really all that big a fan of that, but I am working on trying to figure out a way to get the saw chip and dust and all that crap to come out. The biggest problem I have is this shroud here. If it was narrower, it wouldn't have any strength, but it being so wide, the chips ended up kind of hitting this, slowing down, and then falling in the tray. So we've got a whole lot going on. Toolbox about falling off. That's the first thing that kind of went. Second thing was this guy. Just trying to touch all the bases on these slow days, try to get you guys something for content that all applies. You can see right there my bar is rubbing. I'm half tempted to cut this a little bit, but I'm glad I didn't with my son running it, just because potential is there. This thing's finally coming off of here, but if it sat where it's supposed to, it would be there, and that would fix that whole problem. But the problem is it got sprung with a couple pieces of wood hitting the mesh. So like I said, we're at 45 hours. I got 5 more hours before we are finally out of the warranty stage. And I am at the point now where the Farmy winch will probably be going back on the tractor, but I know as soon as I do it, we're gonna get a dumping. So I'm hemming and hawing about it all. Pigs. What do you guys do with your pigs? Do you sell them? Do you split them into pieces? Do you split them into chunks, boiler wood? What do you guys do with them? Because I have no clue. This is my first year with it, doing it. So I'm just looking for ideas, more or less. I don't know anybody with boilers. Now that I'm in this line of work, I guess I'll probably find them. But I was half tempted to take some of them, live edges, and maybe do some cookies out of them, put them online. I know the Etsy people do that. Same thing with white birch. We got all this little pin birch garbage, and I see people using them for weddings and whatnot. Do you guys get into any of that? Is there any money in it? I know there's definitely money in it, but just wondering how the markets are where you guys are. I'm gonna try it all this year, and I'll let you guys know what comes of it. But Grandpa is supposed to be, I guess, I told him that I got some stuff that I got to get burnt, and I just don't have the attention span to mess with the fire, to give it the proper time, more or less. That's my biggest issue. I'll get a good fire started and I'll leave it, and I'll come over here and split for a half hour, 45 minutes, clear a deck, and then I'll go back over, and it needed attention, basically. And that's what's been my my fiasco with it. So I guess he's gonna come and play with the fire, because he likes being busy with that stuff. So that's gonna be a blessing. And then I think what I might do, I'm not completely sure yet, but I might start splitting everything from in here into the bin, or into the bunker that we've got, and I might leave that for spring sale. Not completely sure if that's the smartest thing, or if everything should be going in them bins. But for people, and I have gotten contacted a couple times now, people want to come down springtime and get a pickup load, get a cord or something like that. I don't want to be going into my bins before it's seasoned. So how do you guys manage that? Do you pull from your bins? Just all these questions I have, and I like the back and forth with you guys. It definitely it helps big time. But that's all I've got. I'm not going to go over and show you guys me driving on ice to break it up. One more day. I think tomorrow's going to be the day. I got my chains all ready. The deck is all tight. Oil's been changed, fuel, everything. One more day, and I think we can get this well-oiled machine back to running, because the past 3-4 days it's been rough. So thank you guys for hitting the buttons. We'll see you next time. God bless y'all.